We've done over 150 projects here in the workshop, but one thing we haven't done is turned a wooden bowl. That's all about to change next, right here in the new Yankee workshop. Well, here's a collection of bowls that have some stories to tell. This one over here comes from my family. I'm not sure who made it. You can still see the tooling marks on the outside as well as the inside. Here's a larger bowl. Now, some of these are over 100 years old, and all the years of use develop this patina. I think the older they are and the more they're used, the better they look. And check out this one. It's in the shape of an oval. I have no idea how they made that. It has a check all the way through right there. Here's one that's a little bit newer, sort of a totally round bottom bowl. And here's my first attempt at making some bowls. I did these yesterday. This one is ash, just a small bowl, good for the peanuts, I guess. And this one is maple, a little bit larger with a rim on the edge of it. And look at the features from the wood. That's what's nice about making bowls. This one is just amazing. It's made out of spalled maple, and the defects are even left in the piece. It's wood art. We visited the craftsman who made this bowl on the San Juan Islands in the town of Friday Harbor, Washington. This is the studio of Walt and Janet Kirchie. Walt makes bowls. Some of them are art pieces, like this very unusual piece made out of yellow birch. And some are very functional, simple salad bowls. Look at the figuring in this piece. Now over here, one of the art pieces made out of juniper, has very varying color, very unusual. Here, a large bowl that could certainly be used for making salads. Another bowl that's actually laminated, and it's made out of teak. It's all pieces that were glued together and then turned. And this is one of my favorites. Look at this, a giant bowl made out of a maple burl. And I love the fact that he leaves all these features in the piece. It really is a piece of art. And down here, you won't find one of these everywhere, a walnut table. This is all one piece, the base and this bowl. Over here, the simpler and smaller salad bowls, again, they leave these features as part of the piece. Earlier, Walt showed me the material that these bowls are made from. Oh, Walt, what a wonderful place you have here up in the San Juan Islands. It's just beautiful around here.
Yeah,
and I suppose when it gets cold in the winter, looks like you got a good stockpile of firewood laying around.
Firewood? Get your hands off that. That's not firewood. That's what we do all our bowls out of.
Really? So this is your stock, I guess.
This is exotic Northwest wood right here.
So what kind of species do you have here?
Well, right up there, gnarly stuff up there is juniper.
Juniper, okay.
And alder.
This here?
Alder right there.
Okay.
And then we have big leaf maple right there, fir.
Yeah.
Work on over, and we got some spalted maple over here, and burled maple.
Huh. So these are all actually species that are native to the Northwest here, right?
We try to specialize in all the wood that comes off the island in the Northwest.
Huh. And what does this stuff cost you?
Well, it costs me about a bottle of whiskey every two months to get the loggers to come in and bring me this stuff. Because this is all the trash that they would normally burn.
So bartering is not dead. No cash here.
Absolutely not.
Well,
no cash. That's absolutely what they would normally burn.
Now, I don't want to insult you, but I can't imagine that you're going to turn these really awful-looking pieces of wood into something that's really wonderful.
Well, better step in the shop and let me show you how to do it.
All right. Hey, buddy. Nice big workshop, plenty of tools, and plenty of room, which you really need when you're working on these large pieces.
We have to have all that space.
This is beautiful. And this wood, what is this?
This is juniper.
Wow.
Native to the island.
So I imagine to make a piece like that, you might start out with something like this.
That piece actually came from that block of wood.
Wow. And therefore a forklift, because that's a heavy piece of timber.
We have to have a forklift just to move all the heavy equipment around and to mount them on the lathe. Speaking of which, here it is.
I've never seen a lathe like this. What's the story with this?
Well, this is just not your everyday lathe. This is World War I, World War II lathe. It's a turret lathe. We have done a few things different so that we can cut wood with it instead of metal.
So you've got a piece of wood mounted on it right now. What is this?
This is black walnut. And what we do is we cut the outside first, spin it around, and cut the inside.
Now I see a router here, but I don't see a tool rest.
Well, that's where we're different. What we do is we slow the piece down so that it's spinning around 40 RPM, and we've actuated a cutting head.
So a high-speed tool against a slow spinning piece of wood.
Right.
You have a little more to take off. Let's do it.
All right, let's get started.
That is slick. So what's next?
We're going to switch it around to the other side and start the inside of the bowl.
I noticed some traditional bowl-turning chisels here. Do you use these anymore?
They're nothing more than decoration on the wall right now.
Now you've removed the faceplate and now attached it to the bottom of the blank for the bowl, and you're reattaching it to the lathe. Now it looks like you trimmed off the excess here, and then you flattened the face, and you started to dig out the center.
And now we're going to start from the center and work out so we have plenty of outboard meat here so that the bowl doesn't blow apart on us right away.
So how much will you leave?
We can make it very thin, but this will be a utilitarian piece like a salad bowl, so we'll leave it about a quarter-ish to 3/8 of an inch.
Well, I really start to get the idea now of how this works and how it's starting to take shape. But, you know, this piece has some defects in it. It has a knot in it right here, and you got a lot of opposing and changing grain. What goes through your mind as you're starting to form it? Are you ever afraid it's going to blow out?
Well, the blowing out is a possibility that can happen, but I feature the defects in the wood. Those are what makes it unique and beautiful. Yeah, we're just roughing it in at this point. But let me take you over to Janet's sanding station and show you one that's finished and ready for her to take over.
So Janet, it's your job to take the roughed out balls and sand them all nice and smooth.
You got it.
Let me see that tool you were just using. So this is a disc sander on a very soft base, sticky sandpaper, on a flexible shaft that just goes up to an ordinary electric drill.
Right. Walt did this. We ran it through a rheostat so I can slow it down when I have a fragile bowl.
I imagine it takes quite a bit of time, but this is a beautiful one right here, nice and smooth, teak. Now what do you put on these to protect them when they're finished?
Well, the ones that are going to be used for food, we put a food grade oil on them. And the art pieces, right away we put a sanding sealer on them to stabilize the cells.
And you have some of your finished pieces over here. They're very unusual, very beautiful. And you've given us a wonderful tour, showed us what it takes to go in and make a piece like this, and gave me a few extra tips. So I want to thank you.